Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're bringing in our spoiler-filled discussion of Split, starring James McAvoy and directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, so this story is about three young girls, high school aged, who get kidnapped by a person with multiple personalities, played by James McAvoy. I think his personalities are the most interesting part of the movie because he has so many interesting, and I don't even like calling them personalities because they really are different people.
Different characters
In one body. It's not like his personality changes. He literally turns into a different person completely with different ailments.
Yeah, like mentally and physically.
Yeah, different body types. So it is actually, he has 23 different identities.
Yeah, we don't get to see all 23 of them. We see, 6 to 10 of them, probably?
Yeah, and I like that, though, because,
Yeah,
we really got to enjoy the 6 main ones.
Yeah, 23 would have been way too much.
Yeah.
That's one of my thoughts while watching this movie. I thought that they kept saying 23, 23 or 24 over and over again, and we only got to see 6. So I was like, oh man, maybe these girls are like some of those personalities. And I was trying to add up all the characters in the movie to add up to 23. And I think I got up to 13 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I never thought that the girls were, because the entire time I was listening for cues that the main character was going to be one of his personalities, or the other girls were. And there were lots of hints that told me in the beginning that they weren't. I was looking for it straight from the beginning. So in the beginning, exactly. I knew that they were not because of just the way they were speaking.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was evidence in my mind that they weren't going to be personalities. But I did suspect that the main character, because you could tell just based on her backstory that there was going to be some sort of traumatic thing that happened to her.
Something different about her in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and she's so weird and strange. So I thought maybe she was going to end up also having a multiple personality disorder and being able to identify with the main character, but that obviously didn't happen.
I actually really liked her character because she seemed really flawed and troubled, basically, but I think that kind of made her the most calm one of the group. The other two girls were freaking out, and one of them was freaking out just too much. If you saw our spoiler-free discussion, that was one of the actors I thought was a little bit weak or overacting, and every time she was on screen I was like, oh, please just shut up. And she got locked away in a room by herself, and I was relieved.
Oh, see, I am completely on the opposite end of that thought. I thought that the main girl was irritating because she just wanted to sit there and she's like, oh, that plan's stupid. We're not even going to try it. What do you have to lose? You're being held captive. Why wouldn't you try anything and everything?
Well, because she knew that it was futile and they should wait for an actual plan instead of just randomly trying to escape. Because she knew how overpowering he was. And that's why when Hedwig came in, that's when she formulated the plan to trick Hedwig to help them. Because he's just this little kid, and they could easily manipulate him without trying to physically overpower somebody that they're not going to overpower.
But they could have physically overpowered Hedwig.
Yeah, I guess they could have.
There were several times where I felt they could have ran out of the room, although there was another door there. There was 2 doors, so that's partially why.
I mean, what we saw later in the movie, if they did physically overpower Hedwig, one of the other personalities would have just taken over, and it wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah, but I did find frustration in her character because she wouldn't really talk to the other girls about a plan. She kind of just sat there. She kind of just didn't seem like she really wanted to do much in the beginning, and I felt frustrated. I liked that at least the blonde girl made an attempt to escape, even though she wasn't successful.
Yeah, and that's one thing. They should have had one small scene of the girls sitting around, maybe developing their personalities and characters a little bit more while they formulate or try to at least come up with ideas to escape.
Yeah, but I thought it was strange that he put her in a separate room that just has a sliding lock. That would have seemed easier to break out of. And then it was weird to me how the 2 girls were in a room right next to each other, and towards the end they're like, oh, look for something to break out of the room. Mm-hmm. You didn't think of that when you first got thrown in there?
Yeah, no kidding.
That was kind of weird. And then she's like, oh, there's a hanger. You just found the hanger. Haven't you been in that room for a while now?
Exactly, yeah. Like, have they not been talking to each other the whole time?
Yeah.
There's an old lady. Now we can break out.
Yeah. Like, I would think that I don't know. I felt that it was weird that he separated them too. Like that, there seemed no point to that.
Yeah, it seemed pointless other than to get the two girls out of the screen time so that they could focus more on the main girl.
Yeah. At the end, you could tell why she wasn't trying super hard to escape because of her past and the abuse that she's actually had her whole life.
Yeah.
She's used to having to be submissive. So that's why she didn't want to fight back, it seems, in the beginning. But I actually thought she was going to be a strong character. And then in the end, you realize that she is still living with that uncle. Yeah, and that she actually doesn't get her strength until the very end. And I thought that she had the strength at the beginning. So I was questioning her. I was questioning her decisions the whole time, thinking that, oh, she must have this great plan. She's really strong. She knows what she's doing. And in the end, I come to realize, no, she was just being submissive because that's what she always has to do is be submissive.
Right. And even then at the very end, like when you find out that she's still with the uncle, they don't let you know whether or not she goes with her uncle or tells that cop what is going on.
So you actually don't know if she did gain her strength. I like to think that she did, but I mean, you don't know for sure. Did she just continue to go back to him and deal with the torture?
It's very open to individuals' interpretation, definitely.
Let's talk about the counselor's character.
Yeah.
The psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever she is. She was a really interesting character.
Yeah, and she was pretty well developed, and it was interesting how she was. She actually had a mission aside from the main plot of the movie, where she was trying to say, "Hey, multiple personality does exist, and it is this extreme."
Yeah, I really liked her character, and I liked the way that she talked to James McAvoy's character. I like the way that
in a very intelligent way.
Yeah, she seemed like she really knew what she was doing, and I liked how James McAvoy's other personalities were trying to like call to her for help when they had just a moment of the light, I guess they call it.
Yeah, and Dennis went to the office acting like Barry.
Oh, I love that. So I love the fact that he knew his other personalities. They all knew each other.
Right.
And so he was impersonating one of the other personalities. Yeah. That was a really cool aspect. And
she caught on to that.
Yeah. Well, and they described him, too, as, like, they're all sitting in these chairs.
Yeah, I thought that would come into effect somewhere. Like, we would see chairs somewhere, and that would lead into, like, this major twist.
I just thought they were kind of in his head, all these chairs.
Yeah.
And they kind of take turns in the light, and I can't remember which character gets to dictate whose turn it is in the chair.
I think it turned out to be Hedwig because, like... He said, they don't know I have this power, but Barry used to delegate, but then Hedwig, like, took that power from him because the other two were kind of manipulating Hedwig.
Yeah. Yeah, Hedwig was a really interesting character, too.
Yeah, he was really funny.
Yeah, I liked... And I thought it was cool, too, how... I mean, I can't really prove this, but it seems that every single personality had their own bedroom in that place.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I thought that those girls would be one of... like 3 of the personalities because they had their own rooms.
Well, yeah. But I thought because Barry's room had like all these drawings and designs of like models and fashion. And then you have Hedwig's room, which is clearly a little boy's room.
With the drawings of windows and then his, his rap music that he dances to. That was such a funny scene.
Yeah, and it was so cool because you really think, wow, these are separate people, and when it's their turn in the light, they go to their own room, and they have their own life, and it was kind of interesting. Yeah, and
that's a cool thing that at the beginning of the movie, when he's showing these personalities, it's kind of humorous to see. Like, he's in this dress all of a sudden, and you see it for the first time. It's like, this guy's kind of... like, these personalities are kind of funny, but then as time goes on, you start to see, like, the dark side of things.
Well, and the majority of the personalities are good, and that's the thing.
Right.
There's only one or two, I guess.
Yeah.
Personalities who are bad, but they take over. That's when it gets bad.
And that's when they lead the way for the Beast to come in.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Beast.
That is one problem that I had with this movie was I think they took the Beast too far with what he can do.
Yeah.
Like the climbing on the walls. They took it too far. When they show his body the first time, he's like super veiny. And like, I guess I can understand how you can, let that slide. But I thought that took it a little bit too far. And then he starts climbing on the walls. And then he's like, bending, he knocks through that door, which is fine. But the climbing on the walls, like, that's not humanly possible. And everything we've seen up until that point in the movie was kind of based in reality.
Yeah, it didn't really take me out of reality. I guess the climbing on the walls was a little crazy, but I don't know. It didn't bother me. What bothered me the most was the fact that it was so simple, such an easy solution to get him back to his original personality.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, I think. Yeah,
you have to say all three of his names.
Yeah, you have to say his full name.
Like the original personality, basically.
Yeah, the original personality. And it bothers me that the therapist didn't do that when she clearly sees that something's going wrong, and she knows she kind of can sense that she's in danger, that it's a dangerous situation, and then she sees the young girl in the closet and she still doesn't say his full name.
Yeah, and she could have easily, and then he would have helped them escape, and then boom, done.
Or she would have at least had time to escape before another personality.
But the problem with that is that the plot couldn't continue.
It just seemed like such a simple solution that she didn't...
Exactly. So that was just pretty contrived.
Yeah. And then also I didn't like how she said his name and then he turned into Kevin, but then he went back to being the Beast again, and it wouldn't work a second time. Like, why doesn't it work a second time?
Well, that made sense to me because when she said his name the first time, it snapped him out of it, but then the personalities caught on to that and took over again and basically made it so that he couldn't wake up again. So that time they were actively submissing that original personality. So that's kind of what I thought. So the very, very end of the film, there's a random cafe and a newscaster saying multiple personality is real. We still haven't found James McAvoy. So he's still on the loose.
Well, they're talking about the fact that he had 2 gunshots and he's
and still injured.
And he didn't die.
Yeah, he's still at large and didn't die from point blank gunshots. And then this lady says, that reminds me of this guy in a wheelchair from a few years ago. What was his name? And then we hear the voice, Mr. Glass.
From Bruce Willis.
And then, over-the-top revelation that this is the same world as Unbreakable.
I really disliked this ending because I kind of felt like it was a cop-out. We had this really cool movie, awesome movie by M. Night Shyamalan, and it seemed to stand on its own and be its own thing. And then he decides to kind of make it into one of those, what they do with the Marvel movies at the end, you always figure out, oh, this is connected to this, or this is the next movie they're going to do, or, oh, this is connected somehow. And he turned it into one of those kind to make us be like, oh, now there's going to be another, whatever that movie is.
Unbreakable
2. I really did not like that. I didn't think the movie needed that.
It's going to be called Unbreakable Split.
And Unbreakable, to me, was kind of a play on the whole superhero type. It was more realistic than a superhero movie, but it still felt like kind of a superhero type movie.
Yeah, and that one they didn't take the powers too far, they showed Bruce Willis was able to bench press a lot of stuff, and his weakness was water, and he didn't die from a train wreck or something like that. But in this movie, they actually showed the Beast climbing on a wall, getting shot point blank, which I can accept. Fine, he didn't die from the two gunshots. That's fine. But the climbing the wall, I think that's just where it crossed the line for me.
I just don't like that they connected it to Unbreakable at all. I felt like they did that for fan service, and I just hated it because I thought the movie didn't need it.
Yeah, I think it was definitely unnecessary.
It was very unnecessary, and I liked it as a standalone movie.
Yeah, or if they were going to do that, they should have just had a subtle hint. Like the lady saying, that reminds me of the guy in the wheelchair.
Done.
From a few, done.
And then we could have made someone could have made their own fan theory about it.
About the Easter egg. Should have just been a small Easter egg instead of in your face, hey, look, it's Bruce Willis.
Because then that way people who wanted it to be connected to Unbreakable could have had that, strong theory, but people who just liked it as a standalone movie could choose to not take it that way.
And why would somebody who has multiple personality disorder and remind somebody of a guy in a wheelchair who caused a train accident?
Yeah. Well, you'd think that would remind them more of Bruce Willis's character, because he was the one who...
But he's like in secret.
Yeah. So,
but
anyway, I very much disliked that ending.
I think it was unnecessary, and it was really cool to see, not gonna lie. Like, personally, Unbreakable is my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. So, overall, we both enjoyed the movie. We think it's a very well-made movie. Best movie from M. Night Shyamalan since Signs.
Yep, and I really liked how it was a unique take on multiple personality thriller. We didn't have any...
Captivity movie.
We didn't have any, crazy, oh, this person ended up being one of the personalities and we didn't know it the whole time. I really liked that he didn't go that route with the story.
So we're going to be coming out with more reviews and such in the future. So if you like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.